Warning: the following video may have language that some viewers may find offensive, and others are already offended. Viewer discretion is advised, but not really. No animals were hurt in the making of this 4-hour feature film.
They're authentic, they're Canadian, and they're entertaining. And they have the resiliency like I've never seen from any other band.
They really epitomize the story of the little engine that could.
Great bunch of lads, great band.
The Mudmen, the Celtic rock band. Wow!
The odds may be great, that is true. But I will place my bet on me and you. They can bring an army or anything they like, but we'll stand our ground and fight.
I remember the Oilers. You two remember the 84 Cup reunion. You were great there.
When your back is pressed against the wall and there seems to be no hope at all, even when your chances may be slim to none, it ain't over till you say it's done. Never give up or give in to anyone or anything. And you must remember this, in the end, the good guy always wins.
You know, they played for the Queen.
Two great Canadian guys. Listen, I had them on the rock. I'm socking. Do they do a great job?
Congratulations to the Mudmen for 20 years of piping.
Send a little shout out to my friends, the Mudmen. 20 years of pints, tunes, gigs, and mayhem. Well, that's a little bit of all right. Cheers.
Share of highs and lows. What the future brings, nobody knows.
Yeah, of course you're fantastic guys, but the best stories, that's what I remember.
Like an old stone wall to overcome anything at all.
Mudmen, you have my respect. I totally salute you. And have a wonderful 20th anniversary. Here's to 20 more.
The Mudmen. Canada's best kept secret.
Just want to say that these two boys, we've known them for years and years and years.
This, in the end, the good guy always wins.
Wow, what a run, and it's not even close to over yet.
Canada's Celtic Warriors. The Mudmen.
Longevity in this business means that you have made contact with the people.
Today on the Full Monty, we've got a man whose career has included blowing into very loud tubes and terrifying sound techs, proving that bagpipes are not just an instrument, they're a weapon of mass celebration. He's part of the Mudmen, the Celtic rock legends who shared stages and events with some serious heavy hitters. We're talking Johnny Reid, the Irish Rovers, the Chieftains, Great Big Sea, and even the Trailer Park Boys. Which, let's be honest, explains at least some of the chaos in his life. This guy has rocked arenas, festivals, hockey games, and probably a few venues that were never structurally tested for the force of two pipers going full blast. He's played for crowds of thousands, NHL events, and more beer-soaked celebrations than any doctor would recommend. From the Mudmen, the band that makes earplugs cry, please welcome the one and only and the unrecognizable Robby Campbell.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Robby. Thank you so much for coming in, sir. It's been a long time since we've had a chat.
The last time we saw was at East Side's there.
I was just going to say,
Bob Knox's show,
Yeah.
I think that was that fundraiser I jumped up and played at.
It was. That was the Extinguishers for Cindy that Bob was raising
Cindy's
funds for that. Yeah, Cindy's Law, and Bob's been a pretty good advocate for that.
Oh, yeah. Bob's one of our best buddies that we said, I live close to him and I never see him.
You never? No?
I saw him twice this year.
Did you?
And that's in the same week.
Yeah. I know trying to get a hold of him is tough too. I've got a few texts in with him, and it's
busy man.
He is a busy guy. So I want to ask you, sir, list of questions. So the whole idea of this show is we get to introduce you to the people of, kind of away from the Mudmen, but we're going to bring them in and we're going to talk about your shows. But what first pulled you into music, Robby? So was it a family thing? Did you have a personal obsession with kind of like music, or was it just a happy accident that?
Well, I guess it would be a happy accident because I joked around and said our good buddy Glenn Healy wanted the bagpipes and got the hockey stick, and I wanted the hockey stick and I got the bagpipes. And so my mom plays piano and she played in a little Celtic band, and she wanted my brother to learn the fiddle, and so the fiddle teacher died, and then the local barber in Glencoe was teaching bagpipes if you joined the pipe band. So my brother joined and he taught me, and then we played with the pipe bands, Strathroy Legion for a while, and then we went to the 78th Frasers in Toronto that were world champions and hold the record for the most albums sold and that. And so we said then we got played with John McDermott and the Irish Rovers and the Chieftains and everything else, and we kind of caught that bug where our first show with musicians was actually in Hamilton Place.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, with Irish Rovers. And so we said, it's not like you're paying your dues and you're playing to 4 people and you're fighting for your paycheck. That was later on. Right?
Yeah.
And so we got off to such a great start. So we kind of caught the bug right off the bat and wanted to do something with this crazy instrument.
Cool. I think, I know when I met you and your brother, the group was still fairly new. You were playing down here at the Iron Horse. And that was... that
would have been probably 2012. So we're actually going to we're on our 28th year this year.
28th, okay.
So it's so we would have been about 14 years deep when and that was that the time it was downtown?
That one was behind. It was downtown, but in the back of they had that community stage up in the back of the furniture. Yes.
Yeah, that was the
Jennings.
First time. That might have been one of the that was the first festival we played in St. Thomas.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, St. Thomas was the...
Was it 2012? I thought it was a little bit prior to that.
About 2012. That we started playing Kenny Iguana's bar and around 2010. And before that, we never played St. Thomas.
How was that in Kenny Iguana's? That must have been...
Yeah. That was always a party.
God, it had to be loud in there with those pipes.
Well, it wasn't. Like, everyone thinks the pipes are so loud, but we said the problem is the pipes is they're shrill and they cut over things. But when you take out the decibel meter, the drums are way louder. The guitars are way louder.
Okay.
I said this to people. You put a Marshall cabinet up back in the days when we traveled with Marshall cabinets, and you put a microphone in front of it, and you think a set of bagpipes is going to cut over top of that? And then you put them in the speakers? It's like... so, we get these sound guys all the time that, say, I got to mix this medieval torture device and whatever else. And so I've got the meter now. I'll pull it out and say, okay, buddy. It's like, you want to bet?
Yeah.
And it's like... So the pipes, yes, they're loud. And then we had that debate one time with some good buddies of ours. If a skill saw is 110 decibels and you add another one, what's it going to do? And the average person would say, it's going to be double. And it's like, no, it's going to bump it up so much. This and that. But now we've been keeping the volume down. We're playing to an older crowd and we're in theaters and this and that. So we try to keep the sound down. And most of these theaters want you about 98 decibels. They don't want you.
Okay.
So there's some halls we don't like the pipes. Then there's some that we do because your drummer wants it in his in-ears and you want a little bit in the house. and the whole bit. But a lot of times when you're in a rock band, the pipes are not. If you went around Dropkick Murphys, I imagine if you stood in that stage, they'd be all in-ears now, but everything else would be so loud you wouldn't even hear the pipes. There was years we were touring on stage, you couldn't hear the pipes so loud.
Really?
And,
wow. So growing up, obviously you like a lot of rock music, classic rock. I know you play a lot of that in your shows too. A lot of the Eastern, or I call it East Coast music. But what did you listen to growing up? What was kind of your
said like in our set list, we don't do many covers. We're not a photocopy band. We do a couple. We do Johnny Cash and AC/DC, and we do a couple. Dirty Old Town. A few.
I love that song. Dirty Old Town.
Yeah, some trad covers there and the whole bit. But in the majority of our set is original. But growing up, we listened to what our mom listened to. So she had the old record player, and John Allen Cameron and the Irish Rovers and Clancy Brothers and Jimmy Shan. And so we were really introduced to Celtic music. And then working construction, a big buddy of ours came in with a Long Way to the Top, an AC/DC cassette. And he said, you got to listen to this and blah, blah, blah. And so he'd always say to us, if anybody makes fun of the bagpipes, you tell them Bon Scott played them of AC/DC. And so that was our introduction to that. And we said, but no, we didn't grow up listening. One night we were at a after party for the Junos, and all the big stars are there, the Trues are there, and Big Sugar, and Danko Jones, all these guys there. And Ron McLean walks in. And they got talking about rock and roll trivia, and Ron buried them all. He knew, if he said, who's the bass player for, Chilliwack, boom, he knew it. Who's the drummer for Trooper, bang, he knew it. And everyone else is just like, wow. It's like, so it's like a lot of the bands get so enwrapped in their own career and trying to make it that sometimes you don't know as much of the outside world of music,
Wow. Another question I wanted to know is, so for your fans, what's something that you could tell them that they probably don't know about you? What some of your fans?
We said, I think when you look into our career, we are working on a book and a documentary. It's taking forever. It's a bigger project, but we've done everything in this world to keep the band going. We've roadied for Kid Rock. We've roadied for Pointer Sisters, Barry Manilow. You name it. We used to dig graves. We worked in construction. We bounced bars. And when the record label and our management and everything dropped us, we didn't wait for the phone to ring like other bands. We found our wallet, and we went out there and we kept the ball bouncing and this and that. And so I think the number one thing when people look at this band is they're so surprised that the founding members, the financial backers, the guys that write the songs are the bagpipers. How could that be? Because the bagpiper is supposed to be the guy on Mike Myers' movie Drunk at the Wedding playing If You Think I'm Sexy, and and Hollywood makes fun of the pipes, and they want to project it as a drunken idiot playing the pipes. And you look at how many great bands, Paul McCartney and the Trues have used the pipes great. And obviously Ozzy Osbourne, Slayer plays the pipes, Kerry King, and Glenn Campbell. The list goes on and on that the instrument's been used.
They're beautiful. I love pipes.
In the right element. But unfortunately, people get to see the pipes on Remembrance Day, Santa Claus Parade, Canada Day. They see the pipes at their worst element where they have to march in a 10-kilometer parade, and they're struggling to,
and it's minus 10 and
minus
whatever,
10,
right?
and that's you wouldn't ask Bruce Springsteen to walk and play in a snowstorm and try to sound good, and the television's waiting for you at the end, right?
So by the time you get down there, you're in prime shape, right? Who was some of the biggest influences for you when you're growing up? I know you said your mom, but
mom was a big. Well, we said musically, we just kind of got thrown into the pipe band situation, and obviously the Irish Rovers was the first band I ever saw. That was cool. That the first band we played with was the Irish Rovers. Those guys are great. A lot of great stories there. But over the years, you get listening, and obviously bands like Great Big Sea and Spirit of the West.
Cool.
And there's been a lot of great bands out there that you listen to and you like. And Run Riggs is a great one. Ronald's Cross on the East Coast is a great band. And we came out around the same time as the Real Mackenzies and the Dropkick Murphys. So those. So when people say, did they influence us? Like, well, no, we were all cutting our teeth at the same time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this and that. And so we said when we started out, there wasn't many bands doing this. There's the Tannehill Weavers and Born and McLeod. There's a few, but now when you try to play festivals and you phone up and you say, hey, we're the band with bagpipes, that doesn't mean nothing. You might as well say, hey, I'm the guy with two eyes. Because bands are popping up and they're playing for free, and this band is called this, and then tomorrow they're called that. And it's such a competitive world now, and politics come into play, and so it's like.
Now, how did you find it? COVID ruined a lot of
momentum,
live.
And everything.
Yeah, it was. I've had Jamie Warren in here, who I know you probably know very well, and Jamie, I asked him, how's it coming back now? It's not back 100%. It's slowly, things are coming back, but it's tougher to get the people in the seats.
COVID was a good excuse for insurance to go up, and then it makes it tougher on venues. And then now people have been trained to entertain yourself at home watching fine programs like this.
Yeah.
And then, the big stars won't do meet and greets anymore because they're afraid of getting sick. And so, it starts at the top and it just keeps filtering down. And no, we're not. The music scene will never recuperate from, in my opinion, from COVID, just because the money lost, the fans lost, this and that. And you get looking around, and there's
changed.
There's no venues to play.
Yeah.
And us playing theaters and that, it's hard to get into these theaters because there's bands that come in there. I won't give any names, but they have competition clause that, another Celtic band can't play the building for 6 months. And so we've had it before where you've run in the building, they phone up and say, hey, I booked so-and-so, and his competition clause, so we're going to have to move your show. And it's like, well, is so-and-so going to pay for the advertisement when I started advertising? I got to find a new show. And it just makes it tougher because there's less venues, more people fighting for the spots. Sometimes the city runs these buildings, and the city workers are going to get paid. They don't want shows in their buildings and this and that. And it's kind of wrecked the whole. There's still enough people out there that want to go out and see a show, but we gotta train them that, let's do that. And you even look at the World Juniors. The hockey numbers were down. And you're watching the games. The Americans who came out to see the Team America, but the rest of the gate was down, and so that's an indication that people are hurting.
And people got to realize that to go out for an evening at $20 to get a ticket or whatever, I mean, that's long gone. Ticket prices are generally quite a bit more now, and it's all your other expenses. People don't see the behind the scenes stuff, right? And if you've got hotel rooms that you've got to book, you're traveling, if you're flying, if you're, whatever, it costs a lot. And you're not just coming in by yourself.
No.
You've got a group, right? Your brother's in there, and then you got the rest of the band.
We've got the band guys, like I said early on, that people are shocked when they find out that our guys get paid no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And so you've got the overhead, you got advertising. There's a big one right now that all the newspapers are slowly dying. Radio works in certain markets, not as well. And then we're having troubles with our Facebook accounts down because they've accused us of impersonating the Mudmen. And so we're trying to get our account back, but that's a big one right now. And then there's the competition of if I had $1 for every time, even around here, Elmer's a good example of that one. If you ever play Elmer, they'll put their poster right over top of yours. They're working against you, and they'll come whatever. And we've had a few events. You play for the Legion, and you sell it out, and it was a great event. And then that Legion president does something questionable, and he gets voted off. And then he does everything in his power to make sure that the next time you come in, you are successful, because he wants to be the one. When I was the president, we sold this show out and that show. Look what we hand over to this guy. And so we said, there's a lot of competition and jealousy. And I've said this. I have more friends that have played in the NHL than I do in music.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, well, because you play these festivals, and usually it's the big guys that are great. You're out there, Nana McMaster and Dean Brody, and all these guys. They're fantastic. So ones at your level and below that, you got to watch out for, that are seeing how great you are, and then as soon as you turn around, they're the knife's in your back.
Cutthroat.
And people believe what they just jump to conclusions. They don't say, oh well, where is the proof or whatever.
Wow.
We said it's getting worse, and the internet's making things worse because you can there's no filter on the internet. Yeah. Maybe there is in Facebook because we're shut down, but you can say and do whatever the hell you want on Instagram and TikTok and all these things, and people believe it.
Yep. People are getting so desensitized to a lot of stuff that normally would make you just cringe, and you're just seeing more and more nasty stuff, and people are just getting more desensitized to it.
Well, people don't know what's real anymore because
AI.
We said with our documentary, we've got a lot of testimonies from stars like Glass Tiger and Glenn Healy and Ron McLean and Don Cherry and this. But now, people look at this and they might go, well, anybody can make that happen with AI. I didn't know how to run AI, so it's like whatever. But changing time.
I've watched a lot of it. You can typically tell, but AI is getting better, right? That artificial intelligence grows. As the more it does things, it learns. There are certain videos that I've watched that I'm like, okay, that's got to be AI. You can see a little glitch or something happens in there. But anyway, I wanted to move on here too. So as the Mudmen, what is one of your favorite songs that you'd like to perform with your brother?
Well, we said obviously the one that makes you the most money and fans and stuff. And so over the years, Drink It Fight's been a staple for us. But we said, songs like Where I Came From and I Know Who My Friends Are, and they're great songs because they relate to the general public. We've got a song that's original song that's called Old Plaid Shirt, and we encourage people to wear plaid shirts. We sell plaid shirts, and you see them come out with the C, like Peterborough the other night was sold out, and the red plaid shirts were everywhere, and so that's kind of neat when you get that kind of reaction.
That's cool. What's one of the strangest things that's ever happened to you when you're on tour?
Oh God, there's been so many. We pulled up to nightclubs where they're still on fire from the night before, and the club burnt down. Nobody has told you.
Oh my gosh! Really?
Yeah. And so you walk up there, and the sign says "Show Move to Jack's." You go to Jack's. Show Move to Kilroy's. You get to Kilroy's. We don't have any room for you, and it's like, okay, wow. And we said we've had amps catch on fire on stage, and we said we've seen a lot. We've in the early days of colleges, there was a lot of crazy fans getting naked and doing stupid stuff, and and we said,
why don't I ever get to shows like that?
Well, we said in the early days, we said one of the saddest memories would be we were opening up. We had this little band opening up for us in this place called Sidetracks in Edmonton. This was the building that Nickelback was playing 2 weeks prior to them exploding and conquering the world. And so the band, we didn't really get to know them that well, but they said, oh yeah, our bass player's sick, so their dad filled in for him. And so the dad was there, and he's in the back room, and he's drinking, he's getting into the party supplies and this and that. We went back to the hotel. We came back, and the fire truck's there, and the ambulance, and this and that. And, well, dear old dad overdosed and died in the back room.
No way.
So then they're like, I don't know if the show's going to happen. So we're like, okay. So we're sitting outside waiting. We're like, what's ticket sales like anyway? Because if ticket sales aren't good, it's like, maybe out of respect to this guy, there's the answer. We just call up, all right?
Yeah.
And so we said, well, it's up to you. You're the manager of the nightclub and whatever. And so the little band didn't play, obviously. And they said, no, Dad wants you guys to go on. And so we did it. But we said, we've seen a lot of strange things. Okay.
Wow. Holy moly. That's something else. So do you have anything like let's say, wow, this only happens in Canada moment on your tour? Because you play all through the States and everything too.
Well, yes. I mean, like, obviously, we were playing one time in Red Deer, and we had a bunch of guys but we got a great group of guys right now. Fantastic. It's the best lineup we've ever had. And if we have to play extra time or something happens, they get it because it's a business. But other guys, they're like, no, we're playing 90 minutes, that's 90 minutes. And we were playing Red Deer one time, and our good buddy Ron McLean comes in, and we said, well, I guess we're going into overtime because he came in as we were ending the set, and he'd want to hear some songs, and so we had to play some more music. There's a few guys that weren't too happy about it. In our book, we've got a chapter called Baby on Board that kind of tells stories about band members that are hard to deal with. And you gotta put the honey on the soother. Soother isn't good enough. You need the honey too.
Yeah.
The whole bit. But I mean, we've had Anne Murray jump up on stage and sing, drink, and fight with us. We had Randy Bachman waiting for us in the dressing room. And in the States, you don't get that kind of stuff. It's a business, and and we're not as well known there. And a lot of times in the States, we just play the Celtic festival. So we're, there isn't the big stars and stuff like that. And so in Canada, it's like...
I wouldn't think... I would have thought you guys had been pretty well known even in the States.
Well, we didn't get the proper push. We were with EMI Records, which, capital EMI, and they didn't know what to do with us. And we signed with them right in the time where they were going to merge with Warner. Okay. And so they just kind of threw us out there and said, hey, let's see what happens. And we all know that they say in Canada, to break a band, you have to spend $1 million. And I don't think they spent anything. So
oh, really?
We had government grants. And we had a manager that, when he left us, we fired him actually. But we had unpaid taxes for 4 years, unpaid HST, checks written to cash where you just stripped the bank account. We were getting grants to go over to England to play tours, and we never got paid to play those.
Oh, wow.
And so we said, we just, without promotion, how are you going to make it, especially in the States?
Yeah.
And so we've been doing well, going down, playing a lot of we do the odd Irish bar here and there if it makes sense, but the majority of it is you play the festival and you get home. You can go to Florida as quick as you can drive to Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
Nicer roads, nicer restaurants, and you have something called cell phone reception.
Okay. Yeah, true.
And this and that. So going through the States, we don't venture into California. I think they banned diesel and gas vehicles in some of the cities.
Did they really?
I think you can't go through that. They're going all electric. And I saw in the news today how Ford is discontinuing the Escape and going with an electric vehicle that they're building, which that's a whole other discussion. But California, the fuel is so expensive because they want you to go electric, and so we don't bother doing it anymore. So.
Wow. All right, so we got about 7.5 minutes left. Okay. So coming up, you have some shows. You're going to be playing in, what's your next show coming up in this area?
Well, the next one would be this Saturday night, which I don't know when this is going to air, but January the 10th at Princess Ave Theatre. That usually sells out. It's a smaller room there. And then we're going to be in London at the Palace on January the 23rd. That's a big hall. And I'd have to think what else. Woodstock, we're coming into Tilsonburg, and we're dancing around the area a little bit. But those would be the two. Okay. The two that would really make sense in this area.
Where's some of the biggest ones that you've played? Robby, you guys have been into, I know you've had some big venues.
Venues. Well, we said we've sold out. Like I said, Peterborough and Market Hall, we were there last Saturday night, and that was the 16th time we sold that out. It holds 350. And last summer, we got to do the music festival there, and it's a free event.
Yeah.
But 7,000 people came out to see us play.
Okay.
And it was the second biggest crowd to Kim Mitchell, so that's pretty good.
Oh, cool.
And we said the Roxy at Owen Sound, we've sold that out every year for like 18 years. That holds about 400. We've done, Brockville, the big theater there. We've put 500 or 600 in there. And so we said there's a lot of theaters that we haven't quite brought the $1,000 gate in as a paid event, but hopefully we get there at some point. But sometimes it's good to stay at the level you're at. You jump up. And if you can't maintain it, where times get tough, it's hard to go back.
Right.
And so sometimes it's better, even like the Princess Ave Theatre, if you sold out quick, it'd be better to add the second night than to say, let's go to the arena.
Okay.
Because, stay with what's working.
So just take us in. So when you're coming to a venue that you're going to play, so what's your procedure like for the night? So you guys roll into town, and what happens? How do you prepare for all that?
Well, you try to get into town as quick as you can. We said a lot of times we're very approachable. So fans will be waiting for you to talk to you before the show and load in and stuff like that. But you try to get into town and get, the boys fed and get a proper sound check. And it's nice if you have a little time in the dressing room to kind of ease into the show. But there's times where you're rolling in at the last minute. And like Perth the other day, we went up to played Perth and the nice little theater there and cranked the deer on the way in. So sometimes you don't have the time you want.
Yeah.
And we're not in a tour bus where everything's cookie cutter and management and your life is.
Do you guys travel together, or you all come in in separate?
No, we travel together as much as we can. Okay. But we're so spread out now. Our drummer's in Hanover. Our bass player and my brother in Kitchener-Waterloo area, and our banjo guitarist is in Peterborough. Our singer's in Woodstock, and I'm in London. So for example, if we were going to play Sarnia, we could all meet up and ride together. But our singer likes to hit and run. He likes to get in, get out, and one of those guys. So he drives himself a lot, and that's a good way to, he's a family man. He's got to keep the wife happy.
Yeah. No, I know it. It is. That's quite a line.
It's a juggling act.
Absolutely. So you get in. How soon are you in usually? Say if your show it goes on at say 8:00. Do you guys roll in like early afternoon, set up, sound check?
Usually about 4 or 5 o'clock. It all depends too. Like we're doing our own sound this Saturday night in the Princess because the usual guy Dave, he's got a band and he's playing that weekend. So it's like if we load our gear in and do this PA, we take more time and this and that. But a lot of times too, we're playing venues where it's not like you're playing a bar and everybody's there having chicken wings and you're getting bugged and this and that. If you're playing an event place, a Legion or a theater, and you're in the big room, then the fans will bug you in the parking lot, but they actually can't get in the venue. And so we don't need as much time, but it's nice to give yourself time, ease into things.
And tuning pipes, I mean, probably every show you gotta tune them up, right?
Tune them up a little bit, but we said a lot of times, one mistake that you see pipers do is they overtune. And they play and they play and they play. And we were on that tour with Johnny Reed. He loved working with us because he said, you guys tune up enough to get the job done, and you're not in the corner and noodling and whittling, and the pipe bands are no one for this guy over there playing that tune, this guy, and noodle, and it's a Celtic chaos is what it is, right? And a lot of times people will use a pipe band and they're like, never again, because, the artists themselves too, they want to sit and watch TV or read a book or ease into things. They don't want a pipe band tuning up and a lot of, I can't say this, but a lot of times opening bands and pipe bands and stuff they get invited to do and they don't know their place. They're right in there stealing the performer's dressing room and tuning and bugging, and we did a show, I won't say where, but the dancers wanted to come out, Highland dancers, and we said, well, you have to look into insurance because that's a big thing now. Yeah. And so anyway, we said, so they show up there and then, they kick us out of our own dressing room because they're the stars, their names on the ticket.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to dance to 3 songs, and anything that's got a Celtic beat that they can dance to, look me, here they come kind of thing, right? And it's like, so, years ago we asked a famous band about opening up for them, and they said, we don't need you guys. When we play the hockey arenas, if you'd like to buy that spot and pay big money to showcase your talent, sure, but otherwise we don't need you. And so, sometimes the pipe bands, they're not always appreciated, tuning.
All right, Robbie, so let's finish up here. So people are coming to your show. What can they expect to see at a Mudmen concert?
Well, I always joke around and say it's more fun than you can handle, but we said it's family friendly.
Yeah.
And we said Celtic music makes you want to dance, drink, cry, the whole bit. Timeless, it's timeless.
Okay, and let me stop you right there. Sandy.
Yeah.
Boy, when you watch those videos, that guy is bebopping and you're there with the foot tap. How has he never given you the dance lessons or what?
I used to in the early days move around a lot, and we wore those big stupid motocross boots that were terrible for your knees.
I remember those.
And we said, but there's so much going on, and I'd come off the stage and your knees would be sore and you're working hard, and it's kind of like, I'm not getting any recognition for doing this. And you look at Blue Rodeo, Jim Cuddy's not, going crazy, or you don't see.
He's not an Angus Young, is he?
Yeah, and whatever else. And so we said, and in the crowds we're playing to now, you don't have to, do the crazy stuff. In the early days, you had to put the show on. They wanted the wild party and the whole bit, and so.
All right,
but he's a great character.
So hopefully, as time goes on, ticket sales will increase. People will like you guys have been doing good. You've been doing a lot of sellout venues and stuff. But
we've been doing pretty good. We've got some spring ones here that surprisingly are slower than usual, but can't win them all.
No, they'll be good, and there's always bad, right? Live performances are you just never can call it, right? Yeah, awesome. So there you go, folks. Robby Campbell from the Mudmen. Get a chance. get to their website. What's the website?
It's mudmen.ca. And we're on most of the social medias, the Instagrams. Hopefully we'll get our Facebook page back here too. But we're on all
I can't believe that.
Bands in town and the whole bit.
Okay, awesome. Mudmen.ca. Check them out. Look in your community where they're going to be playing or near. Worth it. Yeah, what a good time. So, Robby, thank you, sir. Me. I appreciate it. Okay, folks, stay tuned. We'll have another show coming up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. You'll see it here on Rogers. And Mudmen, Robby Campbell. Take care, folks. Bye.
I have been a farmer's man, and if you ask me, yes I can. I was born with a farmer's tan. Yeah, I have been a farmer's tan, and if you ask me, yes I can. I was born with a farmer's tan.
emptying the jug. I rolls up the iceberg, lit to see my fatty's look.
By the gasworks wall, undreamed a dream. By the old canal, I kissed my girl. By the factory wall, dirty old town. Clouds are drifting from across the moon. The cats are prowling on the beach. Springs a girl from the streets at night. Dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town. I heard a siren from across the docks. Saw a train set the night on fire. I smelled the spring on the smoking wind. Dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town. Gonna make me a good sharp axe, the shining steel that's tempered in the fire. I'll chop you down like an old oak tree. Dirty old town, dirty old town. A man I love by the gasworks wall.